Adventurous Carrie here. Thanks for stopping by. I know I'm a little bit behind in my videos on our 7-week trip around the country, but we have seen so much, been so many places, and many of the places we had very limited cell service. So I am working on getting those videos completed and uploaded. I have about 10 to do, so you'll be able to see the rest of our trip. It was just a phenomenal trip, and I just can't wait to show you it all. I'm trying to keep them shorter and not so long, but this next video that I'm about ready to show you is our time at Red Rock Canyon in Nevada. George had never been to Las Vegas and wanted to see the Strip, but by the time we got there, it was an hour before sunset, and we heard there was a race in town, so the traffic was horrendous. So we decided instead to head out and see Red Rock Canyon. The Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area is located just a few miles west of Las Vegas, and it encompasses over 195,000 acres within the Mojave Desert. It was a little hazy just outside of Red Rock Canyon, so I took the time to have a glass of wine and plan the next day's adventure. It's Thursday morning, very early. I'm not really awake yet. George is still sleeping in the van, but I'm in my happy place. I absolutely love it here. It's so beautiful. I don't know if you can see that. The sun's just coming up. And so Red Rock Canyon, I've been driving by this place 1 or 2 dozen times, and I always said I wanted to stop here. And so our original plan was to go to Death Valley after we left Austin, Texas, but the big flood that happened a couple months ago destroyed a lot of the roads in Death Valley, and the park is temporarily closed. So we were going to go then visit a friend in Las Vegas, but she had a family emergency, so that fell through. So then we thought, okay, well, maybe we'll go camp at Red Rock Canyon Campground. Well, guess what? That was full. And so we said, well, while we're here, we might as well do the scenic route. And that's full. But we lucked out. The camp host told us that if we got here at the gate at 6 a.m., that they do let a few people in. And so that's what we did, and it was pitch dark. So George fell back to sleep, and I couldn't because I was so excited to come out here. We haven't showered. No makeup yet. We haven't even had coffee yet. But we're getting ready to take the 13-mile loop. We are in the loop. We're just at the first stopping point. And yeah, we're just going to check out the beauty. I'm not sure how much we can hike because we have Henry with us. But we'll see. And yesterday it was like 98 degrees here in October. Today is October 19th. But it's a little chilly and brisk this morning, but we're just going to go out and see what we see. This is the view from our parking lot while I wait for George to get up. We are at the Red Springs Calico Basin. And as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a reservation unless you're crazy like us and you get up at 5 in the morning and you're at the gate before the rangers show up. But anyway, they do it sporadically throughout the day so that it's not too congested on the 13-mile scenic drive. But I came out here just as the sun was coming up, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So we're going to continue on and take the scenic route, but after we rest up a little bit. But there's so much to do here. Once you're in this loop, it's a one-way loop, so you can't turn around and go back. But there's all kinds of hiking trails, from easy, moderate, difficult. They say that there's bighorn sheep out here, waterfalls. so excited to be here. Rock Canyon is the most visited national conservation area in the country, with over 3.5 million visitors in 2019. That's why in 2020 they implemented the time reservations to help with the congestion in the area, especially from October through May. But this area, the first stop, is a very popular spot for people who like to rock climb. I startled George with all my excitement when I tried to wake him up, but he was just as eager as I was to get out and start exploring. I just loved all the rocks that surrounded the area. It was just breathtakingly beautiful. And we attempted to take Sir Henry out on the trail, but as you can see, he didn't last very long. Desert varnish, the patina of time. After thousands of years in the desert sun, rock surfaces may develop a reddish brown or blackish blue coating known as the desert varnish. This thin paint-like layer is a dense buildup of oxidized minerals, clay, and dust. Expressions on the stone. Rock images are found throughout the world. To modern scholars, they are the cultural clues to the past and reveal how people express their ideas. For me, I allowed my imagination to wander, and I thought this rock looked like a sphinx. Even though it was October, flowers still adorned the landscape, and George enjoyed looking closer up at the plants. This is the fruit that comes on this plant, and it does look like a banana, but I'm not exactly sure what they call it. The day was starting to warm up, so we never ventured out more than 20 minutes, leaving Sir Henry in the van. We kept it cool with the shades and a fan going, and it never got warmer than 70 degrees. But we were still able to enjoy some of the beauty on foot, and that was really exciting. The diversity of the terrain amazed us, and we were just marveling at all the sights. But soon it was time for us to get back on the road and see the sights from the car. These trees in the desert have really deep roots, so they're able to keep watered, and the leaves are also waxy, so they don't dry out as much, but they grow really slow. The trail host said that these trees here, even though they're small, are probably about 1,200 years old. We were following a group of scooters on tour, and they all stopped here at the overlook. So that's another way to see this scenic loop.
8,300 feet of elevation on that one, okay? So again, also our second mayor in our city's history, he did a lot of mining. He was a miner before he was our mayor. He got a lot of silver out of those mountains. But
we stopped at White Rock Trailhead and actually walked a half a mile to the start of the trailhead and didn't realize that we could drive. So afterwards, we drove the van up there just to see how the terrain was with the vehicle. Our 2020 Dodge Ram Promaster conversion van had no problem driving up this particular road. But there are many roads in the scenic drive that four-wheel drive are recommended if you're going to go off the trail. But we prefer the paved road for the van. Last thing we want to do is get stuck on a scenic drive.
mean,
So yesterday when we were at Walmart, we picked up this little pot and we're using it to reheat some of our Vietnamese food that we had with my son a few days ago. And we're going to eat this here at the Willow Creek picnic area on the scenic loop in Red Rock Canyon. And this is doing a makeshift. It's super hot out here. It's now up to 94 degrees and we want to have lunch. George is warming up our lunch in the little kettle that I just showed you. And I put down a towel in because this little silver bench is really hot. And we put up an umbrella to cause some shade. And this is our lunch at the Scenic Loop Drive, and we're at the picnic area. Got our umbrella here, keeping that hot sun off of us. And this is some leftover food that we had at a Vietnamese restaurant. And there are some cucumbers with tahini sauce on it. And this orange we got at a place in Florida, so it's fresh. And an adult beverage. After lunch, I ventured off on my own for the Petroglyph Wall Trail. For contemporary Native people, these are powerful symbols that hold profound spiritual significance. The placement of each image was not casual or random. Although the meaning may no longer be known, it is to be respected for the belongings to those from the past. I cherished these moments by myself, and I wondered what thousands of years was like here before we were here. We love traveling with our dog, but sometimes I just wish that I could explore some of these hiking trails a little bit more in depth. There are so many places to explore on the 13-mile scenic drive at Red Rock Canyon. There was a trail host back at the beginning of the hike, and she said these dried up flowers right here are actually edible. People eat them when they're fresh, or they save them when they're dry, and you can actually eat them. George and I wondered what these prehistoric plants actually were, but they're just something else here in the landscape. George and I decided to venture out one more time before we ended our scenic drive. We saw so much beautiful scenery on foot. It was just absolutely amazing. Back on the road with more views from the van.
cool
Well, we're almost ready to finish our 13-mile scenic drive at Red Rock Canyon. It's absolutely beautiful here. A few things that takeaways from this: we weren't able to do any really long hikes because we have our 10-year-old blind Karen Terrier with us, and he's got short legs. We did try to take him out on the first hike we did, and the rocks were just too much for him. Speaking of rocks, if you're going to come out here and hike, make sure you wear sturdy shoes. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of climbing, and just flip-flops and casual shoes are not going to really cut it out here. This is a hiking paradise. They have easy hikes, moderate hikes, difficult hikes, and oh my God, what was I thinking hikes. But if you're really into hiking, this is a place to come check it out. If you do want to come here, please plan in advance. They require a reservation to get in, but if that doesn't work for your schedule, what you can do is show up at 6 a.m. when the gates open, and they do allow a few people in. I'm not sure how many. We were the first ones in line. We got here at 5:30 because we wanted to make sure that we got in. And here we are. The other thing, check the weather. Here it is, October 19th, 2023, and it's almost 96 degrees here. So if there's a hike that you really want to do, you might want to think about doing it earlier in the day. I think the best time to come out here and hike, when I used to go to the Death Valley, I always picked December and January. That might be a good idea for here. If you're into rock climbing, there's all kinds of rock climbing that you can do here, and I saw a lot of people with their rock climbing gear. There's also little scooter tours that you can take. There's many different ways that you can do this scenic tour. I highly recommend it. George was really intrigued with these. I'm not sure what they are, but they're a lot bigger than they were on the scenic loop. So we had to stop and there's tons of them here. Almost remind me of Joshua trees. Not quite. But we're going to look these up and find out what they are, and we'll let you know. George was intrigued with these trees, and so we thought we would stop by and check them out. And I thought, gosh, they look a lot like Joshua trees. And when we looked it up, guess what? They're Joshua trees. They're really cool. I haven't been to Joshua Tree Park in California in a few years, but definitely love these. I think they're really cool. There's a whole field of them here. So the moral of the story is go with your instinct. If you think it's something, you just might be ready. Thanks for following along on our adventure at Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. Please like and subscribe, and remember, IAPOTA, it's all part of the adventure. Now it's time for us to find a camping spot on our way to Sparks, Nevada.